Welcome to the Pod Bay Door.
Hello out there in the verse. This is the Pod Bay Door. Please join us every Tuesday for informed discussions on new and upcoming movies, games, and tech. And if you love Las Vegas, stay tuned because as Vegas insiders, we can give you a unique perspective on its history, provide insider information, and reveal the unknown secrets of our town, Vegas. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. We're glad you're with us. And hey, if you get the chance, subscribe to us and give us a review on your favorite podcast platform. Also check in with us on our YouTube channel at the Pod Bay Door Podcast.
What is a podcast?
It seems to run on some form of electricity.
1.21 gigawatts! 1.21 gigawatts!
You must have been something before electricity, huh?
Oh, it's alive! It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
Welcome to the Pod Bay Door. Thanks for connecting to us. You can also find us on the podbaydoor.com. Also, give us a look at our new enhanced blog, and that's at thepodbaydoor.wordpress.com or at thepodbaydoor.com. Just click on that big WordPress W, and you can see all the enhanced information that we give you guys. Coming up on this episode, we are going to have an interview with Chris at Faces and Aces podcast. Chris and I talk about being a consumer of Las Vegas. He is an oft visitor of Las Vegas and has seen it change over the last decade, I believe. And we had a great interview with him. And also the secrets of slot club cards, what you need to know about the reality of those cards. With a nerd alert and a nerd grinders. That's a new one for Adam. I saw something in the news that did not please me. And, of course, Area 52. Those comments, we love them. Connect to us. Give us a like. Give us a subscribe. Check out our YouTube channel. We love to get comments on any one of our formats. Eddie Chan 99 commented, "Great show, guys. LA loves. Thank you very much." I'm assuming that's Los Angeles, not Louisiana. Yeah. But either way, we love you guys.
Just in LA. We love LA.
What is the most unlucky thing to do in Vegas? I left this one blank specifically so it would surprise us all, or at least me. Remotely, Sam is with us by cell phone. Adam's sitting right next to me. Adam, what do you think? What is the for you, what is the unluckiest thing to do?
Just coming from like a ex-dealer perspective, I was just gonna say like any type of gambling that you're not you're not like aware of the rules,
right? Or
if you go and go to the roulette table, that's the worst con in the world is the board, right?
Right.
On roulette because it tried and get you to bet the way the pattern is, but there is no pattern. It's always random, right?
Yes.
So that's the worst, odds in the house, basically.
Okay.
As far as bad luck, just don't go anywhere where you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And hopefully that'll minimize the house edge.
I agree. Sam, what do you think?
Don't approach it like a rookie.
Right.
Yeah.
Like basically, you got to do a little bit of research before you just jump in. Like you can't just jump into roulette. You can't just jump into all the games right away. Like you should at least know a little bit. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Right. Now, excellent input there. However, Mike, another question is, what has been the unluckiest thing you've done? Where you realize, crap.
Oh, that was I just
right? jinxed myself.
Well,
now you're a poker player.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, letting an Asian woman on your table is horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible
if you ever
thing
play
to
the Asian lady in the corner and she never plays any hands,
that's right.
Don't ever play a hand against her.
If there's a 1,000-year-old Asian lady on your table, you need to move on.
That's very true. Walking into any strip club is kind of unlucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're gonna end up paying a lot of money.
I see.
The ATM fees,
Oh, yes.
It's all about budget and allowance.
That's
if you go into a strip club, you give yourself an allowance, which is $100, and leave your wallet in the car. You only bring in your ID,
and
that's it.
no ATM card.
$100. Wow. Sam, look at you at the champagne room.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, no. That's not even close nowadays, dude.
Oh, I know. Yeah, tell me about it.
Champagne room?
Right.
Ridiculous. But I'm just saying, like...
That gets you one dance.
Like, I was that friend that would help you not use your wallet. Like, just leave it in the car. Just bring the cash, whatever you want to bring, but don't bring your whole wallet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. Well, you shouldn't bring your whole wallet near women anyway.
Anywhere.
Yeah, anywhere.
In general.
At the grocery store specifically. Yeah. Good Lord. Now, well, my input is this. To me, I think the most unlucky thing, or the most inappropriately unlucky thing, and ultimately becomes unlucky, for both you and the other participants at any table is throwing the chip. So don't toss a chip into a craps table unless you've been told throw it down.
Right.
Don't throw a chip on the roulette table.
Don't ever throw your cards at the dealer.
Don't throw the cards at the dealer. Don't
splash the pot.
Yeah, that's right. And don't throw late on a roulette table. That's so lame, because you're gonna get bounced. Your chip's gonna get bounced out of play. Basically, what I just don't like anybody that sticks their big fat arm and face into an ongoing play. Don't. I've had a guy back a bet on a blackjack table before. Someone that was I didn't know
not
him.
Even playing.
Yeah. And it is legal to do that. But wow. Are you kidding me?
It's pretty discretionary, I would say, at that time.
Yeah. So keep your big fat hands out of off the table unless you're invited onto it. That's the most unlucky thing I've seen. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of unlucky things. I think that we're gonna have to have a whole luck special.
Yeah, we'll put some thought into
very
that.
true.
Yeah.
All the superstitions.
Yeah.
Oh, superstitions. There's a million of those.
Oh my gosh.
Holy crap.
I'd have to make some calls. I'd have to call all my friends, my old coworkers, and see what they would say.
They'd all have good input, I'm sure.
Yeah, for sure. But hey, Eddie Chan 99, thank you for your comment. Coming up next is the guest interview with Chris from Faces and Aces podcast. Talk about everything that there is to know about being a consumer of Las Vegas. And here it is.
Hey, Chris.
We are welcoming Chris from Faces and Aces podcast, and that's facesandaces.com, correct?
Faces and Aces LV.com.
Yeah. Okay, sorry about that. Chris is from Los Angeles, and he just got here via car. And how was the drive?
The drive was pleasant. I really do enjoy that morning drive when there are no cars on the road. Yeah. You see the sun come up over the mountains. It's a beautiful drive.
Wow. Now 4 hours? 4.5 hours.
3:15, which is the reason why I got a speeding ticket on the way here.
Oh, terrible. But Chris is a frequent visitor to Las Vegas. In fact, you are extremely frequent. You and your group, the Vegas sort of network of podcasts, come here more often than the normal individual, I think. Do you think so? Or are you a common visitor?
I think I'm a common visitor because I live in Los Angeles and it's easily accessible to me. Other podcasters come maybe a couple times a year.
Okay.
But I do know a few people in LA who make a regular thing of coming once a month, once every other month.
Right. Yeah. Now, Chris is also a podcaster about Vegas. He's based in Los Angeles, but he does a podcast that is, I won't say strictly, but it's primarily about Las Vegas. And all the experiences that he has. Yeah. And so, hello, Chris. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, Jamey.
You're welcome. When did you first come to Las Vegas?
I would say probably when I turned 21.
Okay.
It's one of those things in California. When you're a kid, you come with your parents and you enjoy Circus and the arcades and whatnot.
Right.
And that's the first exposure. And then I think solo trip without my parents was probably 92, 93, somewhere around there. Yeah.
Now, was Vegas your first exposure to gambling? True gambling. I mean, did you hit AC?
Not like family games with peanuts or not.
No. I mean, did you hit AC? Did you hit an Indian casino? Or was Vegas your first experience, your first quarter into a slot?
I think my first experience gambling may have been down in San Diego at the local Indian casino.
Okay.
Where the age limit is 18.
Okay.
Or at least it was. I'm not sure if it still is.
It is in Arizona, I know. I'm from Arizona, and my mom goes frequently, so yeah, it's still 18.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Now, what was the first thing you played in Vegas?
Probably a slot.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking over 20 years ago at this point. So I'm guessing.
You're old, huh?
I really am.
I understand. Chris and I are about the same age.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're late 30s, right?
Yeah. It's early 30s.
Now, what is your game now? Do you still play? Do you still gamble?
Occasionally, yeah, and I love blackjack. That's my game.
You do love it live blackjack.
Live blackjack,
okay.
Right.
Because we're going to talk a little bit about digital stuff later on in the show,
right?
And live blackjack. So now, do you like live blackjack because of just that fact? Because there's an interaction, there's a physicality to it. Do you like to interact with the people? Do you not like the people? I mean, when you sit there, are you in the cone of silence, or No.
Actually, I enjoy community gaming, where there's everybody at the seated on one side of the table is against the dealer, and we all play together that way. That's when I enjoy blackjack the most. But it's all fun and games. You could joke with the dealer. Sometimes you get a really funny dealer and cracking jokes. He's working for the tips or she's working for the tips. Right. That's all part of the Vegas experience.
Excellent. Now, do you become frustrated with gamblers, or is it when you're here? Are you happy when you're here? And there's a reason I ask. When you're here,
I'm very happy when I'm here.
You are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, it gives you between the mystique that is Vegas and the gambling and the playing and the interactions. It's a pleasant experience.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, there's so much more to Vegas than just gambling,
of course,
which I've kind of been exploring for the past few years. I think prior to, say, 7 years ago, it was pretty much the place you come and gamble, catch a show, get a meal, and then head back home.
Yes.
Now it's more so about experiences, getting a fun, not getting a meal, but actually dining with people, having a good experience.
Okay.
I think Vegas has changed for me quite a bit. And the reason why I say 7 years ago is because I took a 5-year gap.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And was there something that caused that?
A dog. Oh. I got a dog, and that pretty much killed all trips.
I got you. Yeah, dogs and girls, they ruin everything, don't they?
Yeah.
So it has changed. So the reason I asked that question, I know it sounds kind of strange, is that as a resident of Las Vegas and a person that currently and in the past was extremely exposed to everything that are casinos, honestly, I would say 80, 85, upwards of 90% of the people that I see from a distance, because I keep my distance. I'm sure you've listened to my podcast.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
People aren't my favorite, Chris. You're nice. I'm sure your dog is great. From a distance, they do not seem to be enjoying themselves. They seem miserable, and especially on live gaming tables. And there's the classic craps table. If a person goes on a run, there's a lot of fun. I mean, and I'll put in with anybody. That is a lot of fun. You're making money. You're screaming. You're yelling. You're having fun. The dealers are interactive, but honestly, I don't see a lot of happy and because we see it, off season, peak, off peak, and everything else, and unfortunately, we see locals, and you see the 150-year-old woman, with the oxygen tank, and she hasn't moved for a week. So I mean, it's nice to hear that you enjoy it, but that's what I meant by the question: do you enjoy it still? Are you here? Are you happy when you're here?
Yeah. I mean, I think the distinction is you have some people who are here to gamble. Some are good at it, some aren't so good at it. I was just telling someone yesterday that she had never been to Las Vegas, and I was saying, you have to go, but know that whatever money you take with you, you're not coming back with. That's your recreational budget, if you spend it on food, gaming, shows, whatever.
Right.
But you have to consider gaming recreation. It's not a retirement plan in any way. Well, for most of us anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how I think the healthy way to approach this city is. And I think some people come to this city without that healthy attitude. So I was trying to prepare her because she was saying, oh man, I'm a lucky person. I want to win a whole bunch of money. And I told her it's probably not going to happen. You might. It could happen.
Sure.
Probably won't happen. So whatever money you do bring here or bring to Vegas, be prepared to lose it. So don't take anything more than you can spend. Yeah. And I think if you come in with that attitude, then it's a much more pleasant experience, as well as recently took a trip with a group of people, and we kind of experienced some of the more refined things in the city. We had dinner at Charlie Palmer Steak, and we went to the Mandarin Oriental for drinks, and these were some of the nicer things. And this past trip that I took, I spent more money on food and drink than I did on gambling, which is the first time that's ever happened.
But easy to spend way more on that.
Easy to do
now.
But I think the millennials may be onto something. It kind of really got me thinking with the gaming revenue going down here in the city. Mm-hmm. It got me thinking maybe they have it right. Maybe that's the way to do the city now.
True. Now you've been a visitor long enough, even with your gap period, to have seen the coming and the going. And I don't think it's come back yet, to tell you the truth, of the Lost Leader. There's no longer the classic free buffet or the $2 buffet and the giant table of crab legs. And although shows can be comped and the everyday pedestrian comp now is Groupon. And so it's easy to get those, and you're not going to break the bank. But Lost Leaders are gone. I mean, do you miss those? Do you miss trying to achieve a couple of free buffet tickets?
I do.
They're still out there. Not to say for the people listening, they're absolutely still out there.
Yeah, but they're hard to find.
Yeah, there isn't the pit bosses and clerks aren't throwing them out like water. So
right. I mean, they are out there. They're hard to find. You just got to know where to go. Right. But I do miss those days where you could sit at a table for a few hours and then just call over the pit boss and say, "Hey, I've been here. How long? You've seen my average bet. Right. Can we get a few buffets?" And they'd say, "Sure. Let me call it in." They go over to the phone, come back with the coupons, and then you and your friends go to the buffet. There was something fun about that. There was something Vegas-y about that, whereas now it's more corporatized.
Okay. No, absolutely. I mean, Steve Wynn, he's sort of the figurehead that is thought of as the person that brought the corporate environment in. And for better or for worse, it stayed, and it's going to stay. Because the casinos need that backing, and they need the diversification of it. Mm-hmm. So absolutely. Now, do you think Las Vegas still offers value in any area?
Value in any area.
As far as a vacation. Used to be, let's take a quick, cheap trip to Vegas. That's not the case anymore.
No.
Or you have to research it to death and then, pinch your pennies.
Right.
So is the value there in any area?
I don't know if the value is here anymore. I mean, you have to be a select type of player to get that value. The average person who's coming in, hey, let's go to Vegas for a weekend, and this is the first time they've gone in 5 years. I think they may be surprised at how the city has changed.
Yeah.
The value is there, but again, you have to hunt for it. For example, you could go to, say, Ellis Island. There's some value there, but you got to know where to go. And then also, when you're getting that value, there's a trade-off.
Right. Ellis Island, not karaoke. Did you do karaoke?
I didn't do karaoke.
Are you a karaoke guy?
I am so not karaoke.
No, neither am I.
I tried once, and as I was getting off the stage, someone told me, "Man, you couldn't carry a note in a bucket." Right.
There you go. Ellis Island, for all of our listeners, Ellis Island, classic place that still has the graveyard menu. Still has it is the place to go for karaoke. When I was a concierge, I still recommend that. I believe they have almost finished their expansion. They expanded one of the rare expansions. They went forward.
Yeah.
They didn't go backward because they didn't have the square footage. They went forward towards the road. But Ellis Island, fantastic, and they can get a steak the size of your head, on Graveyard for about a couple bucks. So not bad. Now, do you think you represent the you already impressed me the number of times you come here, but do you think you represent the majority of casual Las Vegas visitor?
Casual Las Vegas visitor, probably not.
And what I mean, you're not a conventioneer,
right?
You're not an entertainment guy. You're not coming for that.
Right.
You just come to have fun.
Well, I think there's a certain group of Las Vegas nerds who are obsessed. The people who listen to our podcasts, the one who want to keep up with whatever is happening in the city while they're not there. They got that FOMO thing going on.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would be the casual Las Vegas visitor, considering how many millions of people come here every year. I think we're a small, select, passionate group of people. I think the casual visitor might be the weekend from California people, or the, let's save up pennies in a jar and let's come out here from Montana type people. I think those are the casual visitors.
Okay.
So no, I wouldn't classify myself as that.
So would you, furthering that, would you consider yourself a more discerning visitor than those possibly from the Midwest? I mean, are your demands from Las Vegas as an entertainment venue stricter?
I would say they're probably more lax because of my personality, because of knowing what the city is and what it needs to do to survive and maintain. Mm-hmm. I think I probably let a lot more slide than other people who would take advantage of certain missteps that a hotel or a casino might make.
Right.
I think we're in a culture where, say, they got shorted on a bet and therefore it needs to not only be rectified, but they need to be compensated. Mm-hmm. I think that's how a lot of people approach these, or at a hotel, something happened and I demand such and such. I'm not that type of person typically. Mm-hmm. I typically will say, that's the way it is, and unless it's egregious.
Sure.
But
now Las Vegas has always been known as, it's a copy of everything. We have a small Eiffel Tower. We have a small New York City. Yeah. We have a small everything. Now, after coming these many years, because what I do as a commercial photographer, and what I'm doing today actually at the Cosmo, I photograph and film decor, facades, architecture, and things of that nature for marketing purposes. Does that still affect you, or are you blind to that? I mean, do you see Caesar's fountains anymore? Do you see the new restaurant facades, or is it just the name, like Carnavino? I mean, do you see everything that's going on, or are you just oblivious to it now?
Well, you can't see the Caesar's fountains anymore because of the Samsung pop-up store. It's funny. I did have this conversation with Tom recently. Mm-hmm. He was on the trip that I went on, and I blew his mind because he said that, what if they took away the Bellagio fountains? And I said, I probably wouldn't care.
Yeah, that's a lot of square footage.
It is a lot of square footage. Yeah. And the reason why I wouldn't care is because I spend most of my time indoor anyway. Mm-hmm. I know a lot of people love the theming of the Strip. I know a lot of people love, they say, I miss the pirate shows so much, and all those things make Vegas for them. Mm. Personally, what makes Vegas for me is, over the last few years, it's become the people who work and live here. Okay. For me, that's Vegas.
Oh, okay.
So it's an odd answer. Yeah. I realize it's not. Most people won't go with that, but that's how I feel about it.
No, it's a very unique answer. I mean, it's certainly not the answer I would give. It's now I'm going to use this horrible phrase, but are you a people person? I mean, do you like people?
Yes and no.
Here's an example. Yeah. One of the guys that works for me, his name is Van. Mm-hmm. He and I have this talk, and he actually shoots weddings for my company. He loves it. And he said, I love the uniqueness that is people. And see, that's where I don't love it. Because most people now want to tell me how special they are. It's like, I'm Chris and I'm special because, I'm a victim of this, or I do this. And instead of just being a person, they want to tell me why why I need to think they're special. And that's what I feel is unique. They're weird for weird's sake.
Okay. All right.
Now, what do you think? About Las Vegas people now. LA has a whole different world.
Well, I mean, learning about Las Vegas people has been interesting. I came in very naive, I think, in my approach a few years ago, and I learned that it's while the people here have big hearts, they also are. A lot of the people are scheming, and not in the bad way. Some of them are working a hustle, but also some of them are working a hustle against the many people who visit the city.
Right.
There are a lot of scams going on in the city. Absolutely. A lot of sob stories that you don't necessarily have to play to. No. Am I a people person? I'm hot and cold on that. Right. When you find the cool person that you like hanging out with, yeah, I'll be your best friend. Mm-hmm. But there are a lot of people out there who I think, I don't know if we could swear on this show. So
absolutely. I got the big E on iTunes. You go for it, man.
Plenty of assholes out there that I'll steer clear of. Uh-huh. But I'll usually lead with, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Yeah. And then if you reveal yourself to be an asshole, I'm out.
Yeah. Fair enough. What's after all these years again, what's gone that you wish was back?
Star Trek: The Experience.
Really? I have to say, my experience is only one visit to there. I did not go there very often. Star Trek wasn't my thing. I mean, I watched it with my father, the original series with old Bill Shatner. Really?
Yeah.
Great answer.
I had that right off the bat because that's the one thing I wish I could still go to today.
Wow.
Of all the things, I enjoyed the Riviera.
Sure.
I miss Imperial Palace. But Star Trek The Experience, I would do every other trip if I could, if it were still around.
Do you like the other, I'll say nerd-based thematic parts of casinos, like the Marvel Experience and all that? Do you like those, or that's your nostalgic love?
I think it depends on the attraction because I am curious about it, the Marvel Experience, and I'm sure I'll do it at some point, but I'm not drawn to it, even though I'm a big fan of the Marvel movies. Yeah. But the Star Trek Experience was kind of this weird little geek corner cut out of Vegas where it was kind of like Fantasyland at Disneyland, where people dressed up in costume and actually believed they were living under Federation rule there in that small little bubble of Vegas. Right. And I thought that was such a cool little thing, especially in this city that's supposed to be cool and slick. And then you got this little nerd group over there hanging out. So,
Marvel Experience is, again, one time. If I go more than one time, if I say I don't like it, I'm lying to you, because obviously I went more than once. It's okay. It's a facade. It's very visual. The interactivity is minimal. And it's just, as with anything else in Las Vegas, it's just one more bell, whistle, light, neon tube that distracts you to make you stay a little bit longer for that one extra quarter. But it's okay. I would go, though. It's fun. But what a great answer. I even forgot that was here.
Oh, man.
Now here's a tougher question. Yeah. Maybe not. That wasn't tough at all. What needs to go? What's overstated? It's the bad uncle. It's overstayed its welcome.
I think the porn slappers. I think if I had to boot something from Vegas, it'd be the porn slappers. Yeah. Not for the reason that you're thinking. Yeah. Porn is great, but what I'm not down with is how they take up physical body space on the sidewalk when you're trying to roll with your crew of 20.
True.
And these guys and gals are just standing there, kind of off to the side, but kind of not, and waving hands at you and stuff like that.
Now, if you didn't know, the porn slappers, they're people that have girls. If you want a date in town, they're slapping these little cards at you, and they hand it to you, and they're very aggressive. But if you didn't know, there's actually a marketing company, a professional, accompanied marketing company that runs those. And they were embroiled in about 6 years ago in a huge lawsuit regarding kind of what you were talking about, where they can stand. Didn't used to be. Now they can stand in a place basically about as wide as this table, and they have to be off casino property. Used to be they were on casino property, and they would leak into the doors, the big glass doors that lead into most of our casinos, and they lost that miserably, and it wasn't even close. I mean, the casino owners came out in force, and the bosses said, "Yeah, get them out of here." Yeah. But there they were. They're out there with Big Bird, and we got porn and Big Bird. It's great. Yeah. I'm going to move to something that for some strange reason that my panel here at the Pod Bay Door avoids, and Adam, my co-host for most of the shows, he is a proponent of the new marijuana movement here. However, and you and I have discussed that. However, Adam will not engage me in a conversation regarding this. Now, I don't know why, and I never ask why, but you have. You have experienced it. You've come to Las Vegas
specifically for that.
And am I correct in saying that it was your first experience?
It was, the first time I ever tried weed.
Tell the audience a little bit about that, briefly. You came here, and then what happened?
Went out to a dispensary and met with someone who gave me some great advice on specifically what type of strain I should get, and I tried it. And I guess this happens to first-timers trying weed, or not all first-timers, but some, no effect. And so it was a little bit of a little anticlimactic, the experience.
And what method of intake did you use?
Oh, I used a vape pen.
Vape pen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And specifically this said vape pen because the effects would last roughly half hour to 2 hours on the outside as opposed to, say, an edible, which could last for several hours. And I didn't really want to ride it that long.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, a strange question. Do you keep the vape pen? Is it a disposable vape pen?
No, it's a refillable. You just buy a new battery, and actually, no.
Was it your own pen, or they provided the pen?
They provided the pen,
but it's yours to keep afterwards, or they take the pen back.
Yeah, I still have it at home.
So it's a souvenir.
I have it right here. You want to hit?
I'm good. And so it wasn't necessarily pleasant, unpleasant. It was sort of a non-issue.
Yeah, it was a little bit frustrating, to be honest with you, because we tried 3 or 4 times that evening, spaced it out over a number of hours, trying to get high. And we just could not get high, even though a friend of mine had brought other things for me to consume, and I just could not get high. I just got cotton mouth. And so it was a kind of a frustrating experience. But then later I tried it again at home, and I did experience what everybody was talking about, but turns out it's not really for me.
And the same method, the one at home?
The vape pen.
Vape pen. Right. Okay. Because I know, we joke about the Joe Rogan gummy bear leg, and but no, it's not for me. I'll never do it. But now, what's the current atmosphere for marijuana, legal atmosphere, in Los Angeles County? What is the current law there for you guys?
Currently, you can smoke, you can purchase with a medical card, and I believe beginning January 1st of 2018, anyone can purchase. So we're basically mimicking your laws here.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you're a little bit behind, right? We're a little bit ahead in the race, so to speak.
Right.
I think it's a very negative issue.
Yeah.
Now, I have been asked both, through the podcast, through comments and suggestions and things of that nature, so many times, and I don't want to bog down my podcast with the weed thing.
Yeah.
But so many questions regarding that and about weed. Ultimately, I put it under one category of weed tourism.
Mm-hmm.
Is weed tourism and Las Vegas's availability for marijuana being marketed in your county, in your area, in California? I mean, do you see ads? Do you see anything that brings you here for marijuana?
I don't see anything, but then again, I'm not a big reader of High Times.
Okay.
I'm not necessarily in those circles where you would see those ads, but I don't see any public billboards or TV ads. I see plenty of Vegas TV ads. Okay. A lot of those.
You do. Yeah. But those are for just general visits, right?
Mandalay Bay, LasVegas.com, Vegas.com, yeah.
Sure, okay. Now, do you, based on your experience, now was it crowded when you went there? Apothecarium, right?
Correct, the Apothecarium. And it was crowded because I went there shortly after the July 1st when it became legal.
Okay.
And so I made an appointment ahead of time.
Right.
And so the process took about half an hour. It was fairly quickly to do it, specifically because I made an appointment.
Now, you made an appointment like we were discussing on the pre-show, the DMV. You made an appointment like online?
No, I had on one of the people from the dispensary on my podcast before, and so I had kept in touch with him. But anybody can make an appointment there.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, do you think with Colorado's marijuana issues, negative issues growing, do you think that weed tourism in Las Vegas is a non-starter? Do you think we should not get into it? Do you think we should just let it exist and be happy the war is over, marijuana wars are over, and just let it be whatever it's going to be? Or do you think Las Vegas should market it?
That's a good question, whether or not if they should market it.
Does Las Vegas, because you're sort of an adopted resident, I'm going to call you. Do you want large groups of individuals coming here specifically for the weed crawls? I've made the joke before. Do you think it should, or do you think it should just keep it in the bubble and have it as one more option?
Well, I mean, the way that I look at it is would I rather hang out with a group of dudes who are stoned or a group of dudes who are drunk? And I think I'd probably have a better time with the group of dudes who are stoned. Right. A much more easier time. Okay. Yeah, a little bit more chill.
Okay.
Yeah. So it would be yes. I think I would be okay with that.
You would be okay with that.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not particularly.
Right.
I and you and I have had this discussion, and Chris was very kind to have me on his podcast. I have a Well, I've learned. I have the minority view. I'm a man on an island, Chris, and I'm never going to win. But I watch Colorado and I watch their difficulties, however, Colorado. I think what's happened to Colorado is that they opened the doors too wide. I think if they would have done it like we are doing, I think we learned from them. If we just kind of just creaked it open and just let it in, we might see some revenue from it. That's the only hope that I have for it. Obviously the taxation of it goes directly to education for Nevada, which is fantastic. But I fear it. I really do. I think it's. It's so, and it's this big a problem based on all the rest of our problems right now.
Sure.
Yeah. But will you ever do it again?
I have.
You have.
I have.
Yeah.
I
mean, beyond you did it here and then a little
then at home. And then most recent trip, because it was a bonding experience among friends. We were joking in a private message group saying that a couple of the people who came really wanted to partake. And it was a bonding experience amongst us, and we enjoyed it together. Okay. And again, I didn't necessarily enjoy the effects, but I did enjoy the camaraderie that came out of, it's like going to a bar and sharing a beer with a group of friends, except this time it was weed. So I did try it again, and I'm not swearing it off, but it's not something that I'm going to seek out. I think if opportunities come up where a group of people, and it's not a peer pressure kind of thing, it's like a couple of friends that I really care about, and I wanted to do this with them. Right. So, and the effects are, were fairly easily dismissible after a certain amount of time. So, just got to, take the precautions, make sure, you're not behind the wheel, and, make sure you're with a group of people that you do trust, and, that type of thing.
Well, fair enough. And like I said, I try not to spend too much time on it because I could literally have a podcast, just a weed podcast. It was just
a podcast.
Yeah, there you go, podcast. And it would be just nonstop debate over that. And I just think that, anybody with my point of view, unfortunately, it's just a no-win. I can't impress upon people what I feel is going to happen. And I just, like I said, I just hope that we see revenue from it rather than it just being legal. Because that's not a win for me. A win is, okay, we let you have it, not you, but we let them have it, and now we get a whole bunch of money.
Yeah, I mean, you make a lot of good points. I think there's a certain amount of validity with your concerns about weed, especially the effects that it will have on a community. I tend to think that a lot of the people who were smoking weed will just continue to smoke weed. The people who typically didn't, like myself, I tried it, didn't really care for it. I don't know if it's really going to change things that much after gone through this journey. And so
I'm getting old too, though. I'm getting intractable. It's just like like that old man in Up. I don't care about anything.
No, but you would have an excellent point. Say if prohibition were to have ended last year, and we would just see. I mean, we see how that's played out.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, a little bit back more towards Vegas. We'll get away from weed, thank God. One of the things that I've noticed more and more, and I'll notice it again today as I travel through the Cosmopolitan, is that the tech has sort of not snuck in. I think it flew in on a giant bird and dropped itself right on Vegas. And do you think the mystique? You love live gaming.
I do.
And there are now so many options to not be live. You can play virtual craps. You can play virtual horse racing and so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. You can have a hot chick throw you cards, from a television screen.
Right.
Do you like that? Do you not like that? Do you think it's good, bad? What do you think?
I'm not a fan.
Not a fan.
Yeah, I prefer human interaction when possible. Yeah. And I think when you're sitting at those machines, you're not necessarily having camaraderie with the people to the left of you and to the right of you.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm just not a fan. However, I think I'd be okay with it.
We didn't move long enough.
Yeah, we're sitting perfectly still.
I'll take that
out. I think for the people who do enjoy it, I don't want to take that away from them. It doesn't really impact my personal experience here. I think when I start to see those replace actual tables and dealers and, the play pits getting smaller and smaller, I think that's when I'll kind of sound the alarm or go to the places that don't offer those machines. And those places might be locally in California.
Now, do you engage in the apps that are provided by casinos? No,
I don't. No,
you don't. How do you book when you come here? How do you book your trip?
I typically do it through my rewards card at Caesars.
Okay.
And I just take a look at what offers I have.
Okay.
And I play it enough to get free rooms at some of the lower end casinos like the Link and Rio, Flamingo, those places.
Yeah. Oh, the Link. The big controversy. None of us want the zip line. It's just nonsense.
Oh yeah.
Nonsense.
Yeah.
And yet it's a big issue. That and the poor little robo bus crashing. But
yeah, well, if the zip line actually crossed the street and took you into Caesars, I'd be completely for it.
That would be wonderful. Yeah. Oh, now that'd be cool. Yeah. That'd be cool. But unfortunately, it's just I don't know. The locals, I'll let you know. Locals are all on one side on that one. It's just the Link is small. It really is small comparatively, and it's struggling to get itself. I have really good friends at Brooklyn Bowl and really good friends at Margaritaville, and unfortunately, one is too expensive for food, the other one's too expensive for entertainment, and they're just sharing customers, and they're struggling to find their footing, and the last thing they want is this goofy zip line going above them because they feel it's a distraction.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's a done deal. It's happening.
Yeah.
So or so the RJ says. I don't know if you believe everything on the.
That's an interesting point because people aren't necessarily while they're strolling down the promenade going to be looking to the left to the right at the shops. They're going to be looking up to make sure that they don't get vomited on or urinated on.
Urinated on. Yeah, it's happened. It's happened, folks. Now I have to say, admittedly, I don't know its course.
Yeah.
You were there recently. I don't know if you saw any construction of it, but no. I don't know how the length or its course or its end, like you said. If it took you right over to the Hard Rock Cafe, it'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
But it won't. It'll be lame, and it'll be too expensive, and it's just I don't know. But now, what do you think about robo dealers? Do you like you know what I mean, the girls pitching cards or the girls helping with the virtual roulette, and what do you think about that?
Actually, no, fill me in.
I've actually filmed these girls, and what they do is they have an interactive machine that blackjack is the simplest, and all it is a blackjack machine laid out in a horizontal fashion, where everything is virtual. The table, the cards, everything else. It's no different than sitting at a poker machine with a vertical screen. This one happens to be a elevated horizontal screen.
Okay.
And I would film or have filmed the girls that are pitching the cards and interacting with you.
Oh, okay, right.
And now it's gotten to the point. It's pretty cool, actually. It's gotten to the point where Chris will stick in his slot card, and she'll say, "Hi, Chris." And so on and so forth. And I haven't done it in a while. The girls that I shot were very basic. They were just a hello and waving and
the smiling.
Smiling. But is that a substitute for you?
Not for me.
Not for you.
No. I like the live interaction with people.
You like an actual hot chick.
Nothing beats an actual hot chick.
There you go. See, that's why we had Chris on.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, party pits. This wasn't on the pre-show, but what do you think?
I love them.
You like party pits?
Oh, they're great.
Yeah. I wish they'd not be in the front, but so O'Shea's used to have a fantastic party pit. Did you ever go there?
No.
And of course they had and I know him. He's a wonderful guy, and I'm going to call him a short person. I'll be PC, but he'll call himself a dwarf every time. And he was out there, and he had the leprechaun outfit, and he would, and the party pit was right there. It was blaring music. So you like him?
Oh, I thought you were more so referring to the party pits, the pleasure pit over at Planet Hollywood,
same
where
thing.
You have the go-go dancers.
Yeah, same thing.
Okay,
that one happens to be a little bit deeper in.
Yeah.
So you like that?
Oh, they're great. Yeah, I remember when Planet Hollywood started them way back when, and they would have the parade of hot chicks come down the escalator with the boas and the whistles, drawing attention to themselves as they took their positions on the platforms.
Sure.
Oh, it was like a wonderful parade.
Sure. Now that's great. I mean, I that was just an extra. I didn't know because I'm not a gambler. Every nickel just kills me. So I'd rather have the nickel. But I never asked anybody about party pits. I mean, the locals are like, just move past. But that's cool. I like to hear that. And I know a lot of girls. I have a lot of entertainers that are friends of mine, and they actually do that. It's not bad money.
Yeah, or like over at the dancing dealers, where they'll dance for a little while, get down, and then deal you cards.
Yeah, I miss the Fitz though. The D is okay. The D took over the Fitzgerald.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha. Do you like the D?
It serves its purpose.
It does.
Yeah. I like it for what it is.
I mean, it doesn't offer too much, I think.
Yeah, I mean, downtown is a different animal, and that's kind of been a topic of discussion lately amongst people.
Yeah.
I've shifted my allegiance from the Strip to downtown because downtown seems to be a lot more fun and lively, and I liken it to, say, the Titanic, where you have the upper decks where everyone's acting sophisticated, and then you have the lower decks where people are just partying and having a good time. And the downtown is a lot like that. Yeah. And so I enjoy that.
Yeah, like you said earlier, you don't want the party up because then the puking on the people below. Okay, little bit of controversy. You and I had discussed this on your last trip.
Yeah.
Chris and his people. Oceans 14 XL was a group of people that came here, and they had a lovely conversation with some of them, including Chris. And there's two things you know what, I'm gonna interrupt myself. This same group, the Oceans 14 XL, went to the VR experience.
We did,
yes. And so give me a little rundown. How was it?
It was
at the MGM Grand.
At the MGM Grand. I think it was an entertaining time, but for the price point, I'd give it a pass.
$50 per 1.5 hour.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. But if you have an extra $50 to spend, it's a good time.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. It's not a great time. I think what makes it a great time is the people who you go with.
Yes.
That will definitely make it much more fun.
Yes.
But aside from that, it's basically, it's like stepping into a video game where you're looking through the virtual reality goggles and everything looks like a video game, but it's in 3 dimensions and you do get that feeling that you're immersed in it.
Yeah.
But $50 is a high ticket, in my opinion.
It is. It is, especially just for like kids. I mean, you can't just drop your kid off. It's not like the arcade in the old days, you know.
Right.
Now, so VR glasses, headphones. Yes. Were your ears? Were you immersed or not?
I can't remember. That was one detail I was trying to remember, and I don't.
Okay.
I know there was
weed,
sound.
It's
exactly. I think you do have headphones. I believe so.
Okay, and a gun. You have a gun.
Right, you do have a gun.
Like an IR gun? Is it like an IR gun? Or?
It's a heavy. It looks like basically a super soaker that's painted to look like a real gun, and it's a kind of heavy. I think one criticism that I would have is they give you, like many video games, 4 different options for type of gun that you're going to use, but they go through the instructions fairly quickly, and so you're not exactly sure which gun works in what scenario. And half the game you're trying to figure it out and just mashing buttons until ultimately you just start pulling trigger and say, I'll stick with this one and go there.
Okay.
I think it takes a few different times going to really get used to it.
Gotcha.
And I don't want to make it sound like it was a bad time. We had a great time doing it. And I would do it again if a group of people said, hey, the right group of people said, hey, let's go do it.
Right.
But I would never be the one leading the charge.
So if they were to say go $1 a minute, $30 for the half an hour, that would have been better.
For sure, definitely.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, great. Thanks for that, because I probably won't go into it, but now I have that. Chris seemingly does everything that I want to do and don't have time. So thanks. A controversial subject that you and I talked about while you were here for that event is Vegas Strong, and I've done some research regarding that. Vegas Strong, of course, is the and I have to call it a marketing campaign because that's what it was and is, in response to the shooting here that originated at Mandalay Bay. Tragic, yes, and Las Vegas is strong. Always has been, though, so that's the thing. Unfortunately, though, Vegas Strong, in a lot of people's opinions, including mine, has questionable optics and validity. The reason being is that there are multiple GoFundMe campaigns. Steve Aoki, the kind of still in DJ that still gets a lot of money on New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
He has a campaign. I don't think it's GoFundMe. I think it's a different type of campaign.
T-shirts.
There you go. And Steve Sisolak, which I don't know, a lot of people don't know Steve Sisolak, but he is a county commissioner here in Las Vegas. It's 50-50 for Big Steve. You either hate him or love him.
Okay.
And I know both sides. But he's also very controversial in the fact that Steve does what Steve needs to make Steve successful. And he has a campaign. Now, I see a lot of quotes, 1 million this, 1.8 million this, 5 million this, and so on and so forth, and the campaigns are ongoing. I have yet to see any article where it can be, the conclusion is that the money made it to these families. That aside, I'm sure some of it has. That aside, how is the outside perception of Vegas Strong?
I could give you my perception, which it being one of a person who loves this city very much and felt it. I don't want to say as much as someone from the city,
right?
But we're kind of sister cities, LA and Las Vegas,
right?
And I think at first a lot of us in Los Angeles were with you, rooting for Vegas. Personally, when I started seeing the Vegas Strong ads showing the Twitter responses come on the World Series, at that point I kind of felt I don't know what the right way to say it is. It's not that I was over it, but now I felt like certain ad people in the ad space were trying to milk it for sympathy.
I agree with you, and I'll add a couple of things extra to that. We now have billboards in town for basically ambulance chaser lawyers that Vegas Strong, and so on and so forth.
Seen them, yeah.
And I think that I would hate to think that fellow Las Vegas residents are standing on the shoulders of these poor families just for their own benefit. And unfortunately, there is that possibility.
Yeah, and I hope I don't offend anybody in the audience, but I would also say that is a little bit Vegas. The Vegas is somewhat about being opportunistic.
Okay.
And so there is a certain amount of that where I saw the billboard with a lawyer that said Vegas Strong. Yeah. At first it struck me the wrong way, and I went, well, that would happen in any city. Lawyers
of
going,
course.
Ambulance chasing.
Of course, yeah.
And again, like I was saying before, just that little bit of there's an opportunity here. Let's, can't let it go to waste.
Now, moving away from the intangible, there is a tangible opinion, a tangible dedication, if you will, that you can have an opinion on, and it is the 58 pyres dedicated to the individuals that were killed on the Las Vegas sign property area. And subsequently, I believe there's 8 billboards leading up to that, ending with Vegas Strong, and then varying sayings on the way, and they're all in black. What do you think of that?
I think it had a time and a place. It seemed to be a natural place for it to be, simply because it's close to where it happened. The police actually have the space cordoned off. So, I think people visiting the city wanted to show their support for the city in some way.
Right.
I don't know how many people actually get downtown to the one over there. So the one by the sign seemed to make the most sense at the time. However, I think a month out, roughly 5-6 weeks out at this point,
right.
This is a party city. This is a city of good times. And when we went there a couple weeks ago, it was a weird combination of people who were there to do what they come to Vegas to do, party, and also some people were there to mourn. And it was just an odd mix.
Yeah.
I think at a certain point, the city should move it to a more appropriate place, whether it be a museum like they were talking about, or wherever. But I think at a certain point, the city does need to not forget the people, but move on in a way.
No, and I agree with you. I think it's had multiple news cycles, and it definitely needs to go. And what's interesting about Las Vegas, the marketing machine that is Las Vegas is superb, better than any city in this country, about silencing problems. There's a lot of stuff people don't know about. There's a lot of negative things. Yeah. Suicide rates and deaths in casinos and things like that. You don't hear about them. Now, it's changing because of everybody with the cell phone and the little citizen journalists. But yeah, I think you're right. I think it needs to be moved on someplace else. Not removed, but
yeah. And I don't know what the right way to do it is, because they have a memorial at the World Trade Center location, but in Vegas is, again, you come here for fun, good times, debauchery, that type of stuff.
Right.
And so for that reason, I think it should leave the Las Vegas sign so, the city can get back to that there. But I do feel like there should be something a public space for people to go somewhere on the Strip for them to memorialize, because we don't want to forget the 58 people who lost their lives during that tragedy.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said. Hey, and thank you to Chris for that interview. Connect with us again on Friday for a bonus episode of the Pod Bay Door. It will be part 2 of my interview with Chris, and this is going to be all about the direction that podcast is taking in Las Vegas and in general. Talk about some numbers, talk about some feelings about networking, and everything that he has encountered in the last 2.5 years and what we have encountered in our last in our last year. So thanks again, Chris. But again, connect with us on Friday, bonus episode, part 2 of that interview with Chris at Faces and Aces podcast. Next, a favorite of I think most of our guests.
Mine at least.
Yes.
I know.
Adam has the nerd alert.
Thanks. We got some good stuff this week, Sam. He was good on sending us some good topics. We want to start with a big departure from Marvel. Brian Michael Bendis, a huge writer for Marvel.
The biggest hit ever.
Yeah, he's done such works as The Ultimate Universe. He was the original inventor, I guess, creator of Miles Morales, the new Spider-Man, and also Jessica Jones, which is a huge hit on Netflix now. He's moving to DC.
Netflix is going to have very few shows left once they get rid of everybody.
That's true, right?
Keep Jessica.
Marvel will be going to their own thing.
Now, Michael, what's his name again?
Brian Michael Bendis.
Brian, now he's not an artist, he's a writer.
He's a writer,
okay.
and he's been working at Marvel for almost 20 years.
Wow. Okay.
He's done some minor things with like Image Comics before that. I thought it was funny in DC's Twitter announcement for this. They wrote, and I quote, "One of the premier writers in the industry, having created so many unforgettable stories wherever he's been."
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So they refused to say Marvel's name. I thought that was kind of clever, even though he's worked there for 20 years.
Yeah.
But, they're shaking up the industry. I love that DC's, getting one of these big names away from, the gigantic beast that is Marvel and Disney.
Yes.
Definitely. It'll be a good change-up. Because, Bendis brought to the table House of M, Secret Invasion, Age of Ultron.
Huge events that really changed the Marvel landscape.
Oh, yeah. He's one of those writers that can shake the foundation of a series, yet make it new, contemporary, and not make it cheesy, you know what I mean? Like when you watch or read certain things that a writer use the easy way out, where they find a loophole and they try to change everything a lazy way.
Yeah,
but with Bendis,
they kind of write themselves into a corner and then they stumble.
Yeah.
No, he's long plans it out. He's got these long-term goals and stuff. So I'm excited to see what he's going to do for DC.
Now, does Bendis, or any writer, but specifically Bendis, does he? Is the day of the single 15-page comic gone? I mean, is that what when you say that he's coming in and changing the landscape, is he writing just single comics? Is he writing graphic novels?
No, I would
what
say
is he doing?
He's doing like Sam said it, events that take place over, a span of a year, 2 years, that really kind of,
it's
shake
good
the core of the line.
The way he writes it, it's very compelling, best way to put it.
But in print, though, I mean, he's not bridging into screenwriting.
No.
Okay. So the resurrection of the dying DC movie.
It could happen.
Okay.
It could start here with just a new influx of ideas.
Okay.
Who knows if they'll start another reboot.
Okay. Yeah. The reboot.
They like to do that.
Okay.
One of the kind of negatives that he has on his resume, I guess, was he was the one that turned Iceman gay.
Oh, yes.
And he was the creator of Riri Williams, which is the new Iron Man, or Ironheart.
Okay.
The little black girl that's now Iron Man.
Yeah,
that's his idea.
Yeah.
So some people on Marvel are like, yay, we're tired of your stories, you need to leave.
Okay.
But we'll see. I think DC's picked the right move here.
Okay. All right.
Moving on.
They're making a lot of money for sure.
They'll make a lot of money for sure.
Now, how old a man is he?
I'm not exactly sure.
I mean, ballpark?
Probably 30s, 40s, maybe.
Okay.
Sam, maybe you could look that up.
Well, if it was 20,
he's 50.
If he's 20 years, 50. If he's 20
years
into Marvel,
into it,
because I mean, 20 years ago, he would have been obviously with Stan Lee, but he would have been with Jack Kirby. He would have seen the middle to the end of.
Well, 20 years ago was only 1997.
Yeah.
Well, just to let you know, he also won 5 Eisner Awards too, so that's pretty high value for
Yeah, he's got
for
some good runs.
DC to acquire. It's like saying DC's picking up either like the Michael Jordan or LeBron James of.
It's pretty big. Yeah, it's a big name.
All right.
So we'll see how it goes. Sticking with Disney and
Use
Marvel.
the analogy of LeBron. He's from Cleveland, Ohio, anyways.
Gotcha.
It's random connections. but anyway, Marvel and Disney are in talks to buy Fox Movie Studios, which is huge news for the nerds who are all jazzed about a possible X-Men versus Avengers, movie in the future.
Right.
But also, this is a merger of the first and third biggest movie studios in the world.
Right.
So does Disney really need more properties?
Yes.
Well, my problem, my worry lies in Deadpool 2. Because Deadpool 2 was just done, they wrapped up shooting about 2 weeks ago, and now they're doing the editing part, right? But if Disney was to purchase Fox within, say, the next week or so here, if that was to happen, right, does that affect
then they have
Deadpool
say
2?
Over the editing and whether or not it would be an R-rated movie? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm really worried. Like, I want my Deadpool to be rated R. I don't want that PG-13 that Disney formula.
Yeah, the Marvel spin to it, right?
Yeah, I'm worried about that.
Well, no, I mean Disney years ago. It put structures in place to have rated R films, Miramax specifically.
Right, correct.
So I think they will understand what is what people like about Deadpool and what is the hook to Deadpool. So I wouldn't be concerned about that at all. I think what they are concerned about is that with this merger, however, way in the little tiny paragraph at the bottom is they also get Fox News.
Oh, really?
During this, yeah.
Okay, interesting.
And I don't believe that's a stain that Disney does not want, considering the what could be the end of the whole Trump issue. If it goes badly for the Trump administration, obviously Fox and its affiliates have been staunch, if not blind, supporters of Trump. And so I think Disney is looking a little bit ahead, because that's definitely not a coin they want to flip on that one. They want to know
I don't think that's
exactly
their
what they
cup
get.
of tea at all.
For sure.
No, not at all. Not at all. What else you got, man?
Next one, also kind of connected to Disney, but in another one of their properties, Star Wars. They have a new movie coming out in December.
Yes.
The Last Jedi, directed by Rian Johnson. They've just now hired on Rian Johnson for a new Star Wars trilogy that they're gonna want him to write and direct in the future. So fingers crossed on a Knights of the Old Republic movie. What do you think, Sam?
I hope that we get a cool original story, or even following the books. That'd be kind of cool. I just hope that it doesn't fall into another formula where we get the same product restamped. You know what I mean?
All right. So they said that all the books are canon, correct? It's according to Disney. So they have a lot to draw from. For they gave him free reign to do whatever he wanted. It's gonna be an original trilogy, so he can go from anywhere.
Right.
The books are canon for the original fans, but Disney didn't want to use what was canon, so they create their own new thing for the universe. But I really wish that Disney would honor the books, because it's kind of cool. You know what I mean? Because we all read a few of the books.
See, I kind of thought
I like
they
the
did.
storyline of Mace Windu.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Mace Windu. That'd be a cool history. I'm down for anything.
Now, my question is not should it be done and will it be done. My question is, with the representatives, with the large group now that identifies themselves with this type of content and Nerd Nation and that whole group and community, are they pushing the content? Are there consumers for all of this, or
are we oversaturating Star
Are
Wars?
they producing? Yeah, are they going to overproduce it like they have many other things?
Well, it seems to be working for Marvel. They're 30 movies deep, and they're still making number one.
I think there'll always be an audience just for the fact that it's being passed down.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll have the factor of nostalgia, familiarity, and something that brings people together, which is Star Wars, a story that people can relate to from all facets of Earth.
Right.
The problem is they're still going to make a shit ton of money on crappy movies like Rogue One. there's still an audience for it. They'll still go see it. They'll still buy it on Blu-ray. It's not.
Adam, I can't believe you went there.
I got to throw it in there, man. I got to throw it in there.
Well, and one could also argue that the three Lucas sequels, which were I think universally hated, but people saw them multiple times while sitting there.
They were all blockbusters.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you talking about the one with Anakin and Jar Jar?
That's the one.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
I thought those were your favorite guys. Everybody loves Jar Jar.
Everybody loves them. They made a crap ton of money.
Right.
So,
that's right.
So no, I don't think there's ever going to be an oversaturation in that market.
You don't think so?
No.
Yeah. Jar Jar, by the way, I think quite literally was Star Wars' first controversy as it regards today's social justice issues, because they felt it was too close to an African American archetype.
Okay.
So I thought that was very funny. I could see it, but come on, I mean, you're reading too much into it. So
sometimes folks just enjoy the fantasy itself. That's the whole point. It's a fantasy world. Just enjoy it. You know what I mean? Don't read into it too much, because then you're just gonna ruin everything.
Right.
Perfect segue.
Yes.
Into the fantasy world of Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Yes.
Amazon is looking to make a TV series based on the Lord of the Rings. I'm down for that 100%.
Yeah.
I love the Peter Jackson version. I don't know how they're going to improve on it. But I'm, like I said, any influx into, a new foray into Lord of the Rings is going to be awesome.
Well, and if Amazon, beyond the major production companies, Amazon is the only company that has the budget to pull it off. I mean, you need some heavy cash.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I hopefully they do a good. Now, is this a done deal, or they're just
no?
in
They're
talks?
still in talks.
Okay.
And actually, Netflix and Amazon are still kind of battling it out. But it looks right now that Netflix is on top of that. Yeah, like you said, the production value of that alone will be huge. I believe I read it will be the most expensive TV show ever. And if Game of Thrones has anything to say about it, they have the technology, they have the CG, all that to make this happen, make it really good.
Yeah, but those producers will admit that it's ungodly expensive.
Super expensive,
yeah.
The casting, the final location,
sure,
and then all the gear for the cast to wear, it's going to be hella expensive.
Yeah, and of course I think Amazon, Netflix, and everybody involved in Hollywood, they're waiting, for the sexual assault tree to get shaken a little harder now, so we get done with all
where everything falls
goofy
before
shit. Yeah.
Did you guys hear about did you guys hear about Netflix? They announced it today. They're actually going to pull any TV show and movie that's been related to all those celebrities out there as of today.
Wow.
Yeah,
should be a pretty
I'm
big
pretty sure
list,
they're gonna pull House of
it's
Cards
only
pretty soon, and all the other shows.
Yeah.
Well, it's only going to get a longer list.
Well, and I don't know. I mean, as I again approach the age of 50, I think to myself that's a little bit of an overreach on everybody's part, because they're worried that they're going to be sullied by all these people's now bad reputations, and I don't believe that. I think that the consumer public is able to separate Netflix from Kevin Spacey, Netflix from Louis C.K.,
right?
Netflix from now Richard Dreyfuss this morning I saw.
Richard Dreyfuss been added onto that list?
Oh yeah. So he did something with somebody, and so they say, and and of course. Corey Feldman and Martin Sheen and the now passed away Corey Haim, that whole thing. It's getting ridiculous. So I hope it stops soon, because we're smart enough to know that Netflix doesn't espouse sexual assault and rape and everything else. I mean, they're literally going to end up with some of Marvel and a couple of little shows, and then really bad.
And all cartoons.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So I don't know. But that does bring me to I have an extra nerd grinder.
There we go.
I read this morning, and it's been out a while, but it was based off of it was a link off of the a Guardian article, which I do not like. The Guardian. I've decided I don't like the Guardian. They're combatively liberal. Valkyrie. I have not seen the film yet. Ragnarok.
Thor Ragnarok.
Yes, I have not seen the film. I hear it's good.
It was good.
Lots of money.
It was very colorful.
I think the best 2 weekends ever.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, for Marvel.
Yeah.
Not ever.
$121 million opening.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Just a little bit of money.
Just a little bit. Yeah. But in the article, which was entitled, "When is Marvel going to have an all-queer superhero movie?" That bothers me to begin with. I don't understand. I definitely can't keep up with what's okay to say. I thought queer was out. My dad used to say queer is a $9 bill. And I'm apparently not allowed to say that anymore. I still do. But Valkyrie, the young lady in the film, apparently there was a scene cut that confirmed that she was bisexual. And then later on, the actress confirmed that her character is bisexual.
Okay.
Why are we changing? Why now? She is relatively new. I'll give him this. Valkyrie was not the rock solid keystone foundation of Marvel. Thor, Captain America,
right.
Silver Surfer, and Black Panther, and so on. But they're changing them. Why are they changing my superheroes, Adam?
They gotta mark those check boxes, man. Hollywood loves those check boxes.
But really, why?
It was in it was in Jack Kirby's final will. That's why.
Right.
It was in the small print.
Yeah, in the small print.
It was in his
specifically
final
like why in the
troll.
movie.
Yeah.
So Valkyrie comes from Themyscira, or no, I'm sorry, from I'm thinking DC now.
All right. Valhalla.
Valhalla. Thank you. So. I'm not sure exactly why she had to do that, but she left Valhalla to, venture the space, time, cosmos, whatever. Maybe she, enlightened herself.
No, but why are my superheroes? And when I say I mean I was reading comics when you guys weren't yet.
Yeah.
Why is my Captain America changed? Why is Thor a woman? Why is Iron Man a little black dude?
It's a black girl.
Black girl.
Yeah,
sorry.
Riri.
I mean, why are they is the community asking for this? Are they saying great?
I don't know.
I know why they're making Valkyrie bisexual. I know why they confirmed that Green Lantern's gay.
Well, like I said, they got a check mark. It's all about keeping it fresh and real and about the times. And I don't know if it necessarily leads to better sales. I think we covered that in one podcast beforehand, that Marvel actually says that these, are affecting their sales negatively. I don't know.
I have never met anyone of my generation or below that cares that there are gay superheroes. Honestly, they don't care if they're superheroes. They're out of the nerd community now. But I've never met anybody that says yes. I agree with this. We should diversify and have all of these changed. All I have ever heard from all generations is no, I don't want this. I don't want Captain America to change. And to tell me that you've run out of storylines for him being a classically white, American superhero, horseshit. There's no way you've run out of storylines. And Thor is now
Is a female.
Is a female.
Yeah.
And have a female superhero. Have a female from Valhalla. The unknown sister of Thor.
It's all about legacy now in comic books. It's all about passing down the mantle.
Well, if you're reading the comics, the female Thor, it's his lady. She's Thor now.
Okay,
but she was fighting cancer and she became. I didn't read the full story, but she was had some sort of issue, and then she became worthy of Mjolnir. So she was Thor for a little bit.
Well, like I said, it's all about legacy, passing down the mantle. Thor was unworthy at a time, so they had to fill that position. They gave it to Jane Foster. Spider-Man died, so they had to pass the mantle down to Miles Morales. They did this with a lot of characters. Captain America, he lost his super soldier serum. He became old. They got to fill that position with Falcon. They're doing it to, and all these characters go back to being, Captain America became Captain America again. Spider-Man, didn't die. He came back again. They're trying
I think like Adam said, no one dies in comics really. So if anything, they just branch out for a little bit to do a test run. And if it fails, they just fall back to the original formula.
Yeah, correct.
But it does take a while to fall back to the original formula.
Yeah, but do you guys think that
it's a gimmick? It's very gimmicky.
Yes, but I mean, do you think that this movement, this kowtowing to the social justice movement is being well received by your community, by the nerds across the world?
Like I said,
that's gonna be hard to say.
I would say.
Well, how about your friends, Sam? I mean, do you I mean, in the dark, catacombs of the Dungeons and Dragons tables you guys visit, I mean, is anybody talking about this? Does anybody venture to say,
I've read all the
this is
Riri
wrong.
Williams comic books?
This is wrong. Steve Rogers is Captain America. He's not gay. He's not black. He's not Chinese.
Well, they had a huge uproar when Steve Rogers went to Hydra.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, when he turned Hydra, that was hilarious.
Yeah.
Everyone got so butthurt.
And I remember, speaking of Steve Rogers and Chris Evans, I remember that the nation of nerds lost their ever-loved minds when they were like, no, he's Human Torch.
When he was cast,
Yeah.
Oh my God, you can't be two superheroes.
Yeah,
right?
and so the nerds rose up to say no. Obviously, they were fine with it because he's perfect.
Yeah.
But
I think that's what it is too. I think you kind of hit the needle on the head there, Jamie, with the fact that I'm sure we'll put up a fight at first, but eventually it'll sink in and kind of just become the new normal.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be that way in the world of comic books, but apparently we're heading that direction where everything's diversified. There's a variety of comics, I guess, or
Well, yeah, no,
output of things.
I agree with you, but in my opinion is that with the new social justice movement, which is, I'm not going to say it's here to stay. I think that's going to be washed out, through the pipes of the sewer. But I with it here now, why can't? And I know they do create new characters that meet the needs of social justice. They have bisexual, they have gay, they have this, they have that. And the transgender. I want to see the transgender.
Superhero?
Is there a transgender superhero?
Give it time.
Is there one now?
I don't think so.
There will be. Make new ones. Don't cloud over everybody else. Now, from what Adam says, that's very true. If in the storyline, if Steve Rogers had a Hydra problem and had to step down, but Thor, I have to say, Thor is not a title. Thor is a name. Caesar is a title. Thor is, you can't have a new Thor, like you had a new Caesar back in the day. Thor is, they need to.
They bypass that by saying, Thor was more of a title and he went by Odin's son. He dropped the Thor part and gave that to Jane. So she was technically Thor because she had the hammer and the lightning and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And he was purely just Odin's son. He didn't have any power. He was just, more human, if you will.
Now, for example, the Thor comic book that is current right now, it is not in keeping or in line with the Thor movies, correct? Am I correct in saying that?
Yes.
Okay, they don't help each other. I mean, it's a whole separate...
No, not at all.
Okay.
The MCU and the comic book storylines are never in sync whatsoever. They're never simpatico at all.
Because
MCU takes bits and pieces of what sounds good to them.
Yes.
And then they add their own little spice mix to it and give you MCU.
Yeah.
Just like
Thor Ragnarok.
Easy example.
Yeah.
Age of Ultron. X-Men had a big role in Age of Ultron.
Sure.
But there's zero mention of them in the actual movie by the MCU.
Because they don't own that property.
Right.
But they might in the future.
Right. And the reason I ask that is because I know, and this is a spoiler alert, I guess, if the rest of if someone in the world hasn't seen Thor, except me, Mjolnir is gone, is destroyed, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm just curious. All right. Well, thanks, nerds.
You got it.
Anytime.
All right.
We're here all week.
Concierge Chronicle. This was requested by one of our listeners, Dave, off of WordPress. And thanks, Dave, again for requesting this information. I talked to a person that I used to know at a station casino. I can't say which one. There's a lot of them, but Station Casino, and his name is Jim. And I got some intel on the slot cards. Now, a lot of this I already knew, because those of whom work within the industry know that slot cards are kind of a come-on. Not kind of. They're actually absolutely a come-on.
They're a giant pain in the ass.
But there's some bullet points here we'll go through, and then we'll explain a few things. But talking about slot cards, these are the cards that you go to the slot club, and these poor folks there, the slot club workers, they're the redheaded stepchild of the casino. But they help you. They get some vital information, actually way too vital, and put that on your slot card, and it's very much like a credit card, and you shove it into the machines that you're playing, or you give it to the box people at the craps table, or the floor person, or whoever, whatever you like to gamble, you can get credit for playing. And this credit is turned into points, and these points can then be redeemed for meals, buffets, shows, and so on. However, that's not really what they're for. One question we had, and I talked to Jim about this, do they affect the machine? When you put a slot card in, there is a wives' tale that they
tightens up.
They affect the machine either negatively or positively.
That's funny.
Well, in Jim's opinion, informed opinion, and in my opinion, and I would say we could run this past Adam's brother, who actually designs the machines. Yes, they are based on true randomization. Now, there are mathematicians out there that will say there actually is no true random, that a pattern will ultimately appear. And I agree with that. I believe that wholeheartedly. However, the randomness here is
worked on by many people.
Yes. So no, the slot cards, there's no data and no intel that say that slot cards affect it positively or negatively, with the exception of people that think it's
conspiracy
lucky.
Theorists.
It's lucky. Yeah. And it's the same person that you see when you walk past the slot people that are banging on the screen.
Just tapping on the screen. Come on, 4 of a kind.
Yeah.
Come on, 4 of a kind.
Exactly. So no, the big no to that. They are for marketing only. They are not for you. They are not for the consumer.
No.
They're
not even for giving you free stuff, because they can just do that whenever.
Exactly.
They're for getting your information.
Well, they can only give you free stuff once you earn the points.
Well,
it's all about the points, bro.
True, but the casino can write you a comp for whatever they want.
Yes.
They don't need you to have a player's card for it.
Comps nowadays like pulling teeth.
Well, Sam's right, but yeah, absolutely. It's hard to get a comp nowadays because they're penny pinching. The corporate people, the bean counters are all over it. But in the past, Adam's absolutely right. They could write a comp for anything, but the cards are solely, and I'm going to say this one more again, solely to track you. They track your play, they track your address, they track your email, they track everything that you gave them. And that's how they determine what type of player you are, and that's how they categorize you into what type of player, what region of the country, whether you're international or domestic, and where part of the United States you're from, and they will then they start the direct mailers.
Oh yeah,
the big
that's
postcards.
How they market you.
Yeah, so don't think it's for you. And Adam's right that the points, you earn points, and some people earn a lot of points.
Yeah, you get paid for your play. You know, you get some free buffets. You'll get some, some comps here and there. But yeah, that's not the main reason. Now,
what the casinos give you, rocks glasses, pens, mouse pads, dinners, everything else. Well, basically, they don't cost them anything. They get them for free. You know, there's no cost to them at all. So says Jim, and I believe this as well, with the exception of one thing. Every Thanksgiving, which we are approaching very fast, turkeys are still an expense to the casino, and
everybody loves their free turkeys.
Exactly,
and even the people that never gamble will go to get their free turkey.
Go to get a turkey.
You know.
Now, as Sam can attest to this, because turkeys are big and frozen and hard to store, they now are giving vouchers away for turkeys. However, they're still establishing a relationship with like Kroger stores and everything else to get you these turkeys, but they still actually pay for these turkeys. Now, where was the last place you worked, Sam? For the it was only the Venetian for slot cards.
Venetian Palazzo in the Players Club.
Okay. And
so I was stuck in that hellhole for a while.
You were, yes. It's a terrible place, isn't it? Everybody tells me what a terrible place it is to work.
Well, the thing is, for us, technically, it's a 50-50 when you say it costs casinos nothing to give away the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that with marketing, they have a budget. So they just have to plan out the items they're going to give out. But they usually buy like all the hats and shirts at like a wholesale warehouse price.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I know that firsthand, because I have to go grab the stock. Like once you do inventory and actually grab stock of like T-shirts, hats, and cups in the warehouse itself. And that's all on a mass scale pricing. when they purchase all that stuff.
Sure.
But for the turkeys, they do vouchers nowadays.
Right.
We take it to your grocery store. The voucher is good between $25 to $30, and it's a semi-universal voucher, for the name brand grocery stores that people can go to.
Right. Well, I found that funny. It's just the turkey
the
still
turkey part's
exists.
hilarious because
Yeah.
people are so serious about their points for the turkeys, and
it brings
they'll
out the
come back
people,
up
man.
to you every 5 minutes. Oh, do you have enough points? You're like, no, you don't. But keep trying.
Yeah, keep going.
Now, Jim reminded me, and I remember this because you know what? My wife and I went to go get turkeys every year. We haven't done it in a while. But there was a person in the slot club that was before the voucher situation. There was a person in the slot club that was assigned to stand by the barrel of turkeys.
Right.
And making
Do
sure
not move. Nobody steals any
don't
turkeys.
move. Make sure it's only one turkey per person, and restock the turkey hole. Oh, it's
Watch for
hysterical.
the guys coming back with the the glasses on.
Right.
They're
Right.
gonna try.
How I just can't imagine how lame are you to circle back in the turkey line. Oh my God.
Hey, sometimes you gotta have one for Thanksgiving and one for Christmas. All
That's right. That's right. Well, the probably the most interesting information Jim was able to give me were the problems with the slot cards, and had nothing to do with the workers. It had nothing to do with like people in Sam's position, and it really had nothing to do with the front line situation. It had to do with the tech in the back. And he told me of 3 different situations that people absolutely don't know about, which absolutely happens. And if you've ever used a computer and lost all of your shit on your computer due to one reason or another, then you absolutely know this is true. He brought up, like I said, 3 things. One is the phantom point loss. And every once in a while, you'll stick your card in, and these are the people who know their points and track them.
They
and everything.
gamble every time.
They gamble every
Yes.
time,
Yes.
And they
I'm already shaking my head.
Yeah, they
I'm not there in person today. I'm shaking my head already.
Yeah, good. They stick your card in, and it says, "Hello, Adam."
0 points.
And Adam knows that he has 5,000 points, and then you have 3,500.
Oh.
You're like, wait a minute.
I didn't use this.
That's right.
What happened to my points?
I did not get multiple
No, I had
turkeys.
5,000 points yesterday.
That's right. That's right. And Jim said that they often will shave points off of a group, or they'll take points off of one Adam, and it's the wrong Adam. And yes, and that may be a frontline problem, but there's a lot of phantom point loss, and he also
the gremlins, as we like to call them.
Yes, he also alluded to the fact, and with a wink now, he could not confirm nor deny, but he said that points could have been siphoned just on a normal basis. Like, oh, let's take away 500.
Like, this guy's an asshole.
Yeah. No, I mean from a group. Like, let's just shave 500 from this group of people, And I don't like to think about that. That seems just awful because, again, as we have said, it doesn't cost them that much. It costs them either 0 or just a little bit, for a hat.
Yeah.
So
Well, with the phantom point loss, sometimes it's a card too. Like, seriously, if they put their player's card next to their cell phone, sometimes it gets demagnetized. When you put in the machine, it'll acknowledge your name, but it'll show 0 points. So when they run back to a desk, like hooting and hollering, getting all mad, red in the face, I'm like, 99% of the time, your card probably got demagnetized. Because right here on my computer screen, you still have all your points. So I print up a new card.
Yeah.
Everything's fine.
And then chaos averted.
For the rookie players, they freak out so bad.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah,
just take a deep breath. Calm down.
Yeah, I'm sure that as far as hotel stays are concerned, people are generally still aware that you need to keep your room key and your slot club cards away from your cell phone, away from other credit cards. Yeah, people will put it right into their wallets and kill the card. The credit card will be fine.
That's
the card
true.
won't.
Yeah.
And for example, being a veteran at the Venetian, your room is not close to where you can redo your key. It will piss you off to no end when you're exhausted and drunk and lost all your money, and then have to walk another 500 yards to get your key fixed.
Nice.
So keep your stuff.
Or you just realize that your key is actually for a different hotel.
There you go. You're not here. You're at Harris.
Stop drinking so much. Too much tequila.
That's right. Take
been
your
there.
problems elsewhere, buddy. Secondly, Jim brought up app glitches. Now, casinos are trying all different types of tech, mobile gambling and app-based things. And as we all know, with our apps, they all work perfectly, right? Everything's true on the internet. Our apps work perfectly.
Yeah, they never break down or freeze or...
Sure, they're not going to hack my banking app. No.
Well, the thing is, with casino apps, there's two problems. Number one, they don't use enough time for the beta, like a test run. They rush it. And number two is that since they rush it, they try to rush it for a cheap price, so they don't really put a lot of money into maintenance or oversight. So what happened is, say the higher ups, right? They want the app for the casino.
Right.
They want it now and quick for a cheap price. But the people that pay for it are the guests and the employees in the front line, because we're stuck being yelled at.
Right.
And the thing is, we have no control. Like, we're trying to explain to them, like, this is the company's app. They messed up, but I can't do a thing about it. So you yelling at me doesn't help you at all.
Here's the phone number for the corporate app,
Yeah, exactly.
guy.
And which isn't necessarily good. I mean, it's good for a frontline people to say, here's somebody you can contact. But unfortunately, what that creates is a very negative consumer situation, and which is very common throughout all industries, because it basically puts a big sign on your chest. I don't care. Call someone who does.
Somebody else's problem.
Here's a quarter. Or however, are there any payphones left, Sam? I don't know. Here's a quarter. Call somebody who cares. Something happened, and my wife will laugh about this. Something happened at Walmart, and we went there, and a woman comes up, and the greeter with a yellow vest. Everybody's been to Walmart. Everybody needs toilet paper at some point. So you go to Walmart. There's the greeter with the yellow vest. We had a problem. We asked her, and she said, you need to find somebody, in a very rude fashion. She said, you need to find somebody in a red vest. And basically, oh my God. And my wife was just lit up. Because basically that's saying, I don't care.
It's not my job.
The person in the red vest might care. I don't know.
Pass you off.
There might be a purple vest. I don't know.
Right.
But no, those of us who worked in the casino industry love to pass the buck because people are vicious, up to and including throwing and spitting and peeing in the fountains. But I mean, people are so mean, and I can't imagine what Sam went through. I mean, they were mean to me.
I was going to say, Sam, like on average, what was like 1 out of 10, 5 out of 10? Like how many people walked up to you with a problem rather than just wanting to have a player's card?
I'd say 9 out of 10 customers.
I was going to say at least over half.
And that's a mixed combination of either the original employee didn't explain to him the card properly.
Yeah.
They either demagnetized their card, they didn't understand the situation,
right?
Or also they just came in already pissed off and angry.
Yeah.
And like, you can't, you guys know how it is. You guys can't be aggressive about it, so you guys just stand there and smile.
Yeah, you gotta kind of take it.
Nod your head.
Well, see what the corporate environment did, and then subsequently the tech environment that they've created. What they've done is gone against their own caveats in like the policies and procedures. They want you to. They love this phrase back in the day. Own the problem. Meaning that I can't help you, but I'm gonna find
I'll find somebody.
I'll find some. Yeah. But now with app-based, everything is tech and everything is this and cloud-based. We can't help you.
We don't know.
We literally can't help you.
We're not tech support.
Yeah.
We're not tech support. We're not IT guys.
Yeah, there's no owning of the problem. We have to give you a negative response, send you on your way with a possible solution. And how many times have you called tech support? Has anybody ever called tech support? Good Lord.
And had it not taken hours?
Yeah. And and you have to call the Patel brothers and they'll work on your slot card.
Yeah.
Of course it's not going to work. It's a horrible situation in Las Vegas. Now do you guys has anybody in at the table right now online gambling?
Used to do a little bit of poker. Yeah.
How about you, Sam?
A little bit of poker.
Yeah. A little bit of poker.
At fulltilt.com.
Full tilt. Poor Full Tilt. Aw. Now, have you ever engaged in you guys love sports. You love football and you bet sometimes, yes?
Occasionally.
Now, have you ever laid down on mobile apps?
No, not for sports betting.
No. And why so?
Not super huge into it, and if I would, I kind of like the interaction of a sports book.
Me too.
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm old school. I prefer sportsbook. I don't
the
gamble
atmosphere
that much,
around it.
I'd be sportsbook guy.
Yeah,
right. Exactly.
I like walking up and seeing all the different sports screens and the numbers and being able to talk to somebody about the odds.
Plus, you can't pass up that $1 hot dog.
That's right. There you go. That's right.
And nowadays sports books they didn't used to be like this, but nowadays you have your own little cubby.
Yes.
Yeah, you can be very private there too.
Yeah, you don't have to interact with the 800-year-old man, screaming at the screens. Although it's fun to watch.
No, they got some really nice sports books here too. So
I was going to tell you,
really comfortable to just go and watch games.
The slot club situation.
Yeah,
there was actually one night where our computer overheated at both stations. So for the last hour of our shift, the computers couldn't work. Like they all manually shut down on its own.
Nice.
Because it was
just like
overheated.
a mob of angry zombie people.
So I had to spend an hour on my side of the section explaining to guests that, we're sorry for the inconvenience, but the computer doesn't work right now. We're trying to fix as fast as we can.
Yeah.
They're like, what have you guys thought about calling IT? I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, no shit.
Did you unplug it?
No, I didn't think about calling IT. No, I didn't think about fixing the situation myself. Of course not.
What a great idea, sir.
Yes, exactly right.
I'm just gonna go ahead and go fuck myself now.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
Exactly. And see the problem is, and everybody in this service industry knows this, the statement, I'm sorry this, I'm sorry that. We're not sorry. We don't care. It's out of our hands at that point.
We're just the messenger.
Yeah, I mean,
exactly. If you were in our shoes, you'd understand what's going on. Yeah. But since you're a tourist who's drunk beyond all recognition, you're gonna be an ass about it. It's like it doesn't help you. Like you being rude to me doesn't expedite the situation at all.
Yeah, I mean, if everybody in the consumer transaction just admitted a few different things, just neither one of us care, neither one of us are sorry. Both of us admit that this
isn't a problem.
This is an unavoidable problem, and start there. I don't need to say your name 3 times. I'm not sorry. I don't need to, understand the plight of the consumer. Let's just get rid of all that and move on to the problem. And if I can't help you,
fixing it.
Yeah, if I can't help you, I'll try to find somebody that does. But I don't know. It's this world, Adam. I can't do it.
It's a process. That's why we're both out of the industry.
Is when a player passes away, like if someone was to die, right? Mm-hmm. It sounds weird, but like their spouse actually still come in and ask for their points. We have to do a death certificate transaction. So it's out of my hand, the front guy at the Players Club, but we get a manager to come down.
Yeah. They
verified the death certificate, and whatever points that player has can be switched over to their spouse.
Well, I mean, there's still value to that, They've gambled, whatever X amount of money, and if they have 100,000 points and that's worth $1,000, it's still got some value.
Now you bring up a good question. All I can envision are buzzards picking at a little slot card in the middle of a desert. But I have a question regarding this because this is one thing I didn't ask Jim, but I can ask you, Sam. And how many times have we been in a consumer situation where there is a poor, preteen looking at me on a computer that say, I can't change your video rental, situation. I can't do this. I can't do this. Now, in my opinion, there are very few things that where that answer
where you
works.
Really can't.
Of course you can. Now, and slot clubs, I hear many, many times, I can't do that. And Sam, you just described a situation where that was like a pat answer in my head, like, we can't do that. Well, of course you can. You can do anything. And was there anything you couldn't do with points? Like if I wanted to change my whole life and say, okay, I want all my points moved over to here, and where I want half here and half here. Is there anything that you literally couldn't do, or is that horseshit to say that?
Actually, that's pretty true. Like, best example is another property from Venetian Palazzo was in Birmingham.
Mm-hmm.
So, whatever points you had in Birmingham can't transfer to Vegas, and vice versa. Or also, there's like the heavy players from like Hong Kong or Macau that have all their points there. They're like, the platinum of all platinum players. When they come out for the yearly event during Thanksgiving time, where they do that big giveaway.
Yeah, I remember.
We try to explain to them that their points don't transfer. However, the loophole is that their hosts can contact the property back in Hong Kong or Macau to verify it. Then we can print them a platinum card right away. But the thing is, definitely the points transfer from different properties. We can't do that. That's out of our hand.
No.
The only person that would have a say in it is definitely the host.
Right. Now that being said, let's say you have a guy, you have all of the check marks, and you have the approvals of who you need. May it be a host or the host director, and can someone in the casino with a high enough title say, put 1,000 points on this card? Can you do that? If you have the approvals. If you have the approval. You're not doing it on the sly. If the president of the casino came down and said, if Rob Goldstein or Sheldon Adelson said, put 10,000 points on this card and give it to this lady, are you able to do that technically with the tech with the slot card computers?
No. The way the system's set up at the Venetian Palazzo, a manager has to do that.
No, but someone can. What I'm saying is you in general.
Yeah, so someone can.
Okay.
But actually, it has to physically be a manager because they have to type in their passcode.
Okay.
Like a manager has to physically come upstairs from their office, and then walk into our booth.
Yeah.
And actually type in the points and do the whole override from our computer itself.
Okay.
So the manager can actually do it, but they actually type it in themselves. Like we don't do it at all.
Okay. That was a big question because that kind of opens up a whole different mindset in my head, and because that was the biggest.
The point add-ons are for emergency purposes only.
Sure.
So like, if there was an inconvenient situation that occurred and we have to calm a guest down, a manager can put points on there, but that's only for like dire situations.
I see.
I'm laughing at that because that's obviously not what's going to go down.
Yeah, I know.
No.
And they also they give away points for like tournaments and stuff too.
Sure.
So obviously if they're giving away 10,000 points, they're going to be able to just slap it on a card.
Right. Interesting.
Another crazy part is also people that get 86th. Well, for those that are listening to our podcast, don't know what that term means. 86 is when you've been kicked out of casinos.
Yes.
But we do get players that are 86, and when they come back to activate the cards, right? Literally the screen blinks red. Like a green screen turns red, and in big bold letters it says to call and notify security. So our protocol is that we'll tell them either there's computer issues or the printer has issues for the card, and we're trying to print up a new card.
Like, I'll be right back.
And we pretend to call tech support, but we're calling security to come in and take care of
hey,
you.
Can you come check my printer?
Yeah. Paging Dr. Allcom, huh? Nice. That's
I
cool.
got that a few times. I felt so weird because I'm like, oh man, I wouldn't be that asshole that's kicking you back out again.
Right.
But I have nothing to do with that, dude. I'm sorry. You're getting kicked out again.
Like, you're red flag for a reason. I can't help that.
They leave in peace.
Oh, yeah.
Some of them make such a scene, and you're like, dude, just go, please. Let me carry on my day.
And then you know why they were 86th.
That's right. Let's see. Who recently created a scene? I don't know. OJ?
Oh, yeah. It was in the news recently, the Cosmo.
Yeah.
OJ was kicked out for supposedly being too drunk. But
being OJ?
Yes. I was at the Cosmo. I was at the Cosmo yesterday, and
I
yes,
didn't hear about this.
Yeah, they can't confirm it was an official 86, but he was he's no longer welcome.
He was escorted out.
Yeah, he was escorted out. But
have a nice night, sir.
Yeah, right. Well, thanks, guys. That was great. Hope that answers your question, Dave. Let me know if it did, or if there's any further questions. I'll be glad to research that for you. And thanks, Jim, for all that intel. Thank you, Sam. That was fantastic.
No worries.
Area 52, I got an interesting one, and then we will sign off. True or false, gentlemen, is if you are above the Imperial Palace Hotel in a helicopter, let's say, and you look down, Does it look like a swastika?
Oh, the Imperial Palace?
IP.
Man.
Or did
since
it?
it's on
Did it?
there,
It's-
I'm going to the must-have at some point.
Okay, Sam, what do you think? That actually is not true.
It's not true. It's
never
false.
Did. It had angles that were akin to a swastika, but it absolutely did not look like a swastika. That was a wives' tale for many, many years. However, as I delve deeper into this story, the old owner and builder of it, his name was Ralph Engelstad. It opened in 1979.
Is that German?
Probably. It opened in 1979. And he actually had to settle with the Nevada State Gaming Board for 7 figures, I believe, and because it didn't look like a swastika, but inside he had 2 separate parties commemorating the birthday, posthumously, of course, of Adolf Hitler. With, I don't know how he acquired these, but with millions of dollars of memorabilia from the Nazi Party and Adolf Hitler directly.
Wow.
2 different parties, and this was found out, and to maintain his gaming license, he had to pay a fine. A giant Nazi fine. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, right? And the gaming board, that'll show you how powerful they are. They said you're tarnishing the city's reputation. I don't know if that's true. I didn't even know. I mean, I guess
Back in the day, yeah.
Harrah's now owns the IP, and I believe it's now generally, portions of it are still there, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I have to look up an aerial picture of it.
Because that's the link area. They used it, but IP used to have had one of the coolest car collections you ever saw. And they also had the distinction, I think I mentioned this before, they have the distinction of the only casino where you can't get out the way you came in.
Oh,
they
nice.
had one entrance to get in, and you couldn't loop around and get back out. You had to
Out
go
the
through the
back way.
casino and get out the back. It was fantastic.
That sounds ridiculous.
But
right past the gift shop.
right past the gift shop. But big negative on the swastika. That did not look like that.
But the parties were real.
Parties were absolutely real. Yeah. And that would have been a strange party. I would like
It would have been a strange party.
Be like in Inglourious Bastards, that movie.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what it would look like.
Like someone's gonna show up with a bat.
Yeah, I don't know, but they were lavish apparently, and millions of dollars in memorabilia, including flags and art and statuaries, and oh gosh, I can't imagine that. I'll try to check out our blog on WordPress, and I'll get as many links and pictures as I can for you guys to look into that.
Nice.
I think that's fantastic. Vegas has no boundaries.
We've branched into a lot of things.
We have gone into everything.
Yeah.
So clearly we made it through the Nazi stuff. We're going to make it through social justice. We'll make it through the bisexual Valkyrie. We're going to make it through everything.
I hope so.
I think
We'll survive all the comic book changes. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, the comic books just reflect the times as usual.
You're
Yeah,
absolutely
that's very
right.
true, Sam.
Absolutely right. And I think the gentleman you mentioned earlier, Bendis, I think that he could probably attest to that. He's probably seen massive changes over every decade.
I mean, he had to write
I don't know if he
some of those
even
big
knows
changes.
changes more than his wallet. Because I'm sure he's
Yeah.
swimming in a bed of money.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure they had to lure him from Disney or Marvel with the
Yeah.
big paycheck. So
Absolutely.
yeah, good on him.
But connect with us again on Friday for the bonus episode, part 2 of my interview with Chris at Faces and Aces Podcast. We're going to talk about what's going on with podcasting and talk about some numbers in that one. And again, check with our blog, and that's thepodbaydoor.wordpress.com, or go to our website, thepodbaydoor.com, and click on that big W. We loved all the subscriptions on YouTube. We'd like to get that one going a little bit more, so hit some likes and subscribes on that. Thank you very much. We will be back for a full episode on Tuesday. Sam, Adam, thank you very much for being here again.
No problem.
Thanks for having us.
See you, baby.
See you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks to everyone listening and watching. You can catch the Podbay Door on the Podbean app or any of your favorite podcast apps, including iTunes, Google Play, TuneIn, and Stitcher Radio. You can watch the show on our YouTube channel at the Podbay Door Podcast. Please download, like, and subscribe. Our social connectivity screen is coming up. Check in with us on Facebook, Twitter, and WordPress. The Podbay Door is closed and talent is out. Hey everybody, thank you very much for tuning into the show. We would love to hear your show suggestions and comments. If you are watching on our YouTube channel, please click to subscribe. You can also connect with us on Facebook using @PBD Podcast, on Twitter using @TPBD Podcast, and on WordPress at thepodbaydoor.wordpress.com.